Optimus Alpha, how to build anything. So Optimus Alpha is a new stealth model. Seems to have come from OpenAI, but I'll talk about more of that in a second. This is a free API that you can use. So for example, I've used it to build this tariff pong game over here. Like you can see, it may be one of the best games ever created, as you can see. Additionally, we have this office simulator, so we can just, if we ever just want to feel like we need to get back in the cubicle, we can right there. And additionally, we've created this flashcard app, right? And it was really simple. I can't code at all, but I can show you how to build something like this for free using Optimus Alpha. And it's a free model, so you can plug it into whatever you want. I'll show you many different ways that you can build with it. And also, if we check out the rankings, which are available on Open Router AI, so this compares all the main models, how they're performing, etc. And you can see the Optimus Alpha is ranked number 2nd out of all these models today. So a lot of people rate it very highly. It's actually outperforming DeepSeek. Gemini 2.0 Flash is at the top here, and then the Claude 3.7 Sonnet is actually below Optimus Alpha, which is a paid model and probably one of my favorites for creating content. But as you can see, Optimus Alpha is right at the top. I would agree with these rankings. I do think Google is better, but we'll come on to that in a second, and I'll come on to why later in this video. You may be wondering, okay, who's actually created Optimus Alpha or Quasar Alpha? So these are two different models that came out. Quasar Alpha was another one. And you can see here, Sam Altman actually acknowledged that Quasar Alpha was OpenAI's model, as you can see right here. They also talk about this on Reddit as well. So it's quite interesting to see this. Additionally, OpenAI were talking about releasing some open source models, and this seems to be one of them. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty powerful for creating stuff, creating games, apps, tools, etc. So let me show you exactly how to use it. So if you want to use this, for example, inside Visual Studio Code, which is how I, for example, created this Flash, then the way that you can do that is you just go onto Visual Studio Code. I've got a bunch of recipes inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. If you go to your settings, then select Open Router, then you're going to plug in an Open Router API key, and just make sure you select Optimus Alpha as your preferred API model. Right? Then from there, you can code out whatever you want. So you can see, for example, here we are beginning to code out a flight simulator. It's going to take a bit back and forth, but we're getting there. So for example, if we say, okay, run the HTML, or let me preview this now, for example, then we should be able to preview the game so far. Obviously, this one, last time I checked it, it needs some upgraded, but we'll come on to that in a second. So it's running the API request, and then you can see it's coding out right here, right? So you can also run this in a tool like Bolt Local. I actually have an recipe inside the AI Profit Boardroom for all of these methods I'm talking about today, including root code as well. So if you want to be able to set up root code and basically code whatever you want using Optimus Alpha, then you can do that with the recipe inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And if we go into this bolt.local command, what we can do is we can open up the terminal, we'll plug in this command. Like literally, this is just so easy. It's like a copy and paste method. pnpm install it, and then we shall pnpm run. And then what you can do with Bolt Local, which is kind of like a pre-open source version of bolt.new, we can take this local URL, we can go into Bolt Local. I'm just going to grab an API key from Open Router, and then we can start coding out apps and tools and games using Optimus Alpha or any of the other models on Open Router as well. So let me create this right now. We'll copy that, and then we'll go back to Bolt. And inside this section over here, we're just going to click on add an API key. So we'll add Open Router's API key here. And then we can select Optimus Alpha, which again, you can see is $0 in, $0 out, and actually has 1 million token context link window, which is what we like. So for example, if we say, okay, build out, just super basic idea to show you how easy this is, build out a to-do list app, we can start using Optimus Alpha to build that out and build out tools, right? Now, the interesting thing about this is if you're using something like bolt.new, you're going to have to pay for that. You're going to have to pay a lot of credits for bolt.new, costs a few dollars a month, etc. Whereas you can code for free inside Bolt Local instead. You can also code multiple projects at the same time. For example, we could code with Bolt Local at the same time that we are coding with, for example, Visual Studio Code as well. So you can see this is coding out locally. And the good thing about both of these is that you can code locally using the Optimus Alpha app. And if you're wondering why I've got this on my face and a flowery little necklace over here, this is not something I usually wear. It's for Songkran in Thailand. here. So we're just going to carry on and wait for this to load. And then you can see the to-do list app ready to go right here. Celebrate Songkran Festival, #1 to-do list here. We'll add it to the list and you can see that's ready to go. And then if you want to, for example, download this, you can go over to code over here. You can push this to GitHub and post from there, or you can download the code and then upload it to something like Netlify. So if we download that code, open up the zip file, and then we've got a folder coded out. If you go to Netlify, we can actually host out a subdomain. So we'll click on add a new site, import from existing project, try Netlify drop, grab that to-do list we just built out, plug that in. I'll close Bolt Local for now, just because it takes up a lot of memory in the background. And then you can see that's ready for processing right there. So pretty simple and easy to do. To get that hosted, you can easily build apps using Bolt DIY, and then you can host those on Netlify just by downloading the files. And you can code it all for free using Optimus Alpha, as you can see. So just to recap here, we've covered 2 different ways to code with Optimus Alpha. #1 being Bolt Local, #2 being RuCode. Again, all the SOPs are inside the AI Profit Boardroom. You can see this is our flight simulator. Obviously, it requires a bit more work. It's not ready to go just yet. I think we can switch the camera as well. So we can switch the camera angles right there. And then we're ready to take off. All right. It's not the best flight simulator in the world. I don't think anyone's going to be able to tell you that. But you can easily go back and forth inside RuCode. This was just after a few prompts. It's still very early days for the flight simulator. So you can see here, we gave it the prompt over here. Again, I'll put this prompt inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to steal it from me. And then you just go back and forth with any changes that you want to make, like you can see. All right. Now, you can also use this inside another extension inside Visual Studio Code, which is Klein. So if you install Klein, like you can see, then we'll go over to Klein on the left-hand side once you've installed it, which is this icon here. Then we can go inside our settings, select Open Router, and again, we'll try Optimus Alpha. There we go. We're going to hit done. And then you can start coding out from here. So for example, we could say, okay, build out a water molecule in hot water with temperature control simulator. Right. One thing that's actually pretty good to do is you can go into RuCode. You can click on the AI button down here. That's going to improve the prompt because obviously this is way too basic. So let's wait for that to load. Then we can grab the prompt that's generated with AI, like you can see, and we can go over to Client and start coding out with that. All right. And you can see here it costs $0.0. So it is completely free to code with this. And then it's going to come back to you with the details right there. Now, another option is you can actually go into the chat directly. So if you go into Optimus Alpha, again, I've got a full SOP on this if you want to learn how to use this stuff. And if we go over to optimusalpha.org, we can actually code directly inside the chat here. So if we click on ask a question, then we can start coding. You can even create video here, which is pretty crazy. So you can click on create video. I've not tested that out yet. And then from here, what we can do is, for example, we can start coding directly in the chat. All right. So just to recap as well, if you want to build like basic games, like you can see, you can actually use the chat directly. So for example, if we go over to the AI Profit Boardroom, we'll click on the code here section, and you'll see inside the chat room here, basically we said build out a funny US tariff Pong game between the leader of US and China, like Pong, but it's funny graphic with tariffs between each other. It gave us a couple of versions of the code, actually took this one right here, and then you can copy and paste it into LiveWeave to test out and preview it right here. Pretty simple stuff and easy to do, as you can see. The other way that you can use this is you can go inside the chat directly on Open Router, so you don't have to use optimus-alpha.org. If you go to the chat room for Optimus Alpha, you can just go back and forth inside here. You can also compare this to other models. So if you're a big fan of, for example, like Gemini, maybe for some reason 2.0 Flash is beating Pro Experimental on the rankings inside Open Router. But if you want to use Pro Experimental, you've got the choices here, so you can compare them both. And then you can give them the same prompts and just see, okay, which one performs the best, which is pretty simple stuff. Now, if we go inside RuCode here, we can also start coding with Optimus Alpha to build out websites. So if we go select RuCode, go inside the task section over here. And what we do is I'm going to grab some of the prompts that help me build the 53 ASEO tools over here. All right, so we built out loads of different tools inside the ASEO Success Lab. So for example, like a free content humanizer, free content tools, etc. And it's pretty simple to do this stuff, right? So if you want to build out something like this keyword research tool, we can go inside Visual Studio Code and just say, okay, build out a keyword research tool for SEO that helps me find SEO keywords. And then you can start building out SaaS tools like you can see, right? So we'll just wait for that to load. There you go. And we can start building that out. Now, the other thing you can do inside Code as well, I'm not going to explain this directly on this video, but I'm going to use Boomerang. We've got an SP inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to learn how to set up Boomerang. With Boomerang tasks, it's actually much better for building out using this process. Just going to make sure we've got Optimus Alpha selected. There we go. Hit save, hit done, boom. Just something to note there as well is like when you switch between different configuration profiles, you'll have to reselect the API model as well inside Code. So let's wait for that to load. And I'll show you in a minute as well how to build out AI agents completely for free using Optimus Alpha 2. So you can see it's now creating some subtasks in architect mode. Cool thing about Boomerang is it will switch between like code, architect, engineer, etc. inside this section here. So there's a few different options: code, architect, ask, debug, as you can see. So let's wait for that to load and it will just start building this out. This will also plan out with these mermaid diagrams exactly how this is going to work. So you can see user, React front end, Node.js backend API, mock data, and real keyword APIs as well. Plans out the features, the diagrams, etc. This is a really cool way to code with these API keys. And again, like I'm not a coder, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I can easily build stuff using this process. You can also, if you want like a simplified version of this, you could also use something like Bolt Local and then start coding with that as well directly. Now, if you want a faster version of using this, what you can also do is you can go inside NA10. NA10 is free if you host it yourself, right? So if you host it locally, or if you self-host it, you can use services like Elastia. I've got loads of SPs on that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. If you click on NA10, you'll see my whole AI agent section. So you can see all these different ways of building AI agents, and we have tons of stuff for NA10, as well as some SOPs on how to self-host it and stuff like that. What you want to do is create a workflow. And if you want to build out an AI agent that you can actually deploy using Optimus Alpha, then you can click on add a new node, add a chat trigger. After that, we'll select AI agent. Then we're going to select the chat model. We'll type in Open Router. You're going to add your credentials, so your API key for Open Router inside the connection section. We'll type in Optimus Alpha, and we just need to give a system message to the AI agent, like you can see. And then if we open up the chat, ask it, are you working? And we should be able to build like our own chatbot within a few clicks, as you can see. So it says, are you working? Yes, I'm here and ready to help. How can I help you? You can see the AI agent is using OpenRouter's chat model to answer our questions, all right? And inside the chat model section here, just make sure you've selected Optimus Alpha, all right? You can also deploy these. So if we click on active and then grab the make chat URL publicly available, we just need to hit save on this. And then you can see this is open right here. So if we click on, are you working? This will use Optimus Alpha to start answering us, like you can see. And then you can even embed that to your website as well. I'm just going to close that, but you can see how easy it is to build out AI agents using Optimus Alpha. So for example, if we go down here, we'll type in SEO. Let's see what we got. Yeah, so that's a really cool workflow that we've got inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Let's have a look what else we got. An SEO blog post AI automation method. So you could just plug in, instead of using OpenAI here, you could change this to OpenRouter and then start using OpenRouter to code with Optimus Alpha inside this workflow. Pretty simple and easy. If you go back to this example for the SEO keyword research tool, it's going to go off and start building out a React app using Optimus Alpha as well to build this out. And you can code between multiple things. So I could be coding like an AI agent with NA10, as you can see, and then we could switch over to Ruko to start building out with that directly too. So there's loads of different ways you can use this. Like we've covered so far, Bolt Local for building out apps, for example, like the to-do list, AI agents using NA10, Ruko, you can build out websites and tools as well as games, like you can see with this app. And also this office simulator. You got all my peeps running around right there. And then additionally, we have Klein and the chat directly and Optimus Alpha. So there's so many different options there for coding out, and it's incredibly easy. If you want to grab all the SPs, each one of these links to a different SP. So if you want to steal that from me, feel free to get it inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description, along with all my best NA10 agent workflows. So you can copy and customize to Optimus Alpha. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get access to my community that shows you how to make money and save time with AI, along with how to run Bolt Local and other different tools like that, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Inside this community as well, you learn how to make money and save time. There's 670 members, so you can ask for help and advice inside the community. And additionally, it comes with all of my best tips, prompts, templates, and workflows for making money with AI. Additionally, if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how to get more leads, traffic, and sales, feel free to get that. Link in the comments description again. This will give you a free SEO strategy session if you book it in that shows you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visits a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot. On this free link building acceleration session, you'll get a free custom SEO domination plan. So you'll get a custom tailored link building plan to generate more free leads, sales, and profits from Google. You will discover the secrets of SEO link building, or answer any questions you have. You'll learn the best link building strategy for your website, plus how to quickly outrank your competitors with link building based on what's working for us and our happy clients, like you can see right here. Feel free to get that link in the comments